Good evening everyone and welcome to the news tonight, where we get you the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes our top focus is continuing to be the rescue and relief efforts in Nepal, and of course taking a toll on India as well. The death toll in fact increasing. We'll get you all the details and the tidbits, but before that let's get you all the headlines. Death toll in Nepal earthquake crosses 3,700, more than 6,500 reported injured. The toll is expected to rise sharply over the next few days as rescue teams move into remote areas. More than 5,000 Indian nationals back home from Nepal by air and road. Government and Indian Air Force efforts continue to evacuate more people. A high-level Indian team reaches Nepal to coordinate rescue and relief work. Both houses of parliament members condole deaths caused by Saturday's massive earthquake, both in Nepal and in India. Praise the government's achievements in evacuating Indian nationals from Nepal. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani to arrive in New Delhi in a short while from now on his maiden India visit after taking office. Strategic ties and talks with the Taliban to be focus of the talks. And India not to bid for the 2024 Olympics. That's the decision after the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach meets Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi. Our top story, more than 3,700 people are now believed dead in the massive earthquake that hit Nepal on Saturday. Over 6,500 are reportedly injured, many severely, with hundreds, even thousands still missing. There's every fear of the toll rising further. On the ground, despair arises out of the life torn to shreds, alongside the fear from the continuing aftershocks, the latest one being a 5.1 quake this evening.
This is how most areas around Kathmandu spent Sunday night. Miles and miles have turned into rubble, with vast tent cities springing up. Even where solid structures exist, people are scared to stay indoors. The last aftershock struck on Sunday night, not nearly as big as the one earlier in the day, but warning enough that the nightmare isn't over yet. For the second night for most, only the open sky seems safe. The only silver lining, after overnight rain, the weather improved on Monday morning.
व्यवस्था केही पनि छैन। हिजो राति पानी पर्यो, हामी त्यतिकै भिजे रातभरि छाता ओढेर भिजे, बच्चाहरु सानो बच्चाहरु छ अनि निकै समस्या पर्यो। कन्ट्रोल रुममा पुलिसले तीन चार चोटी फोन लगायो। आधी घण्टा पछि भने कोही पनि आउन सकेन हामीलाई हेल्प गर्न। रातभरि चिसो भइयो सुते हामीहरु।
At least 4 out of 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the Kathmandu Valley, 3 of them ancient city squares, are severely damaged. Many renowned temples and tourist sites are hit. Near the epicenter, nearly 70% of buildings are believed destroyed. As rescue teams move into remoter mountainous regions of western Nepal with roads gradually being cleared, the real scale of the disaster is still emerging. Officials warn of a sharp rise in casualties. Reports suggest many communities, especially those to mountainsides, suffered huge damage. Experts even say entire villages of 200 to 1,000 people may have been buried entirely. Massive loss of life is also reported at mountain base camps, many of the killed being foreign climbers. Nearly every aftershock is followed by an avalanche, each raising a fresh wave of panic. Many camps have been buried, though improved weather on Monday allowed air sorties to evacuate people to get underway.
It's a big ice shelf, and it must have just released. We saw it hit, it kind of hits wood level, and then it just shot right back up. And then I saw, so I told the group to get down. It was like 4,000 feet of snow just kind of coming, and there's nowhere to run.
Hospitals have hundreds of injured being brought in for treatment by the hour, besides coping with the aftershocks and the fear they raise.
There are a lot of patients who have got devastating injuries, including head scalping, as well as the amputations, whole of the limb amputations. There are devastating injuries, including chest, badly separated chest injuries.
At many places, cremations have begun since the morning. Authorities are keen on disposing of bodies quickly to prevent a health hazard. 2 days into the worst earthquake Nepal has seen in 80 years, the process of coming out of the grimness seems some way away yet. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, as Nepal struggles to cope with a catastrophic earthquake that has caused extensive damage to both life and property, the international community has responded swiftly, from economic giants like the US, UK, China and India to smaller countries like Taiwan, Bhutan and faraway Israel. Everyone is joining hands to help Nepal in this time of need. Countries, in fact, have not just announced aid, but are also sending well-trained and well-equipped teams to help in the rescue operations.
Apart from neighbouring India and China, countries like the United States, Canada, France, Britain and Israel have extended support to Nepal by sending specialised rescue teams to assist in the relief efforts. Equipped with special machines to save people from collapsed structures and confined spaces, the rescue teams from across different nations have begun arriving in Nepal.
En fait, on est là avec les chiens pour tout simplement aller rechercher les personnes qui sont encore ensevelies sous les décombres.
India's response has been the quickest and most extensive. Rescue efforts picked up on Monday after a let-up in the weather after continuous rains. In addition to the 10 NDRF teams which have been conducting operations in Nepal since Saturday, another 6 teams have been rushed in. NDRF teams have spread across areas like Sitapaila, Maharajganj, Maheshwari and Ganga Bhajar, reported to be the worst affected areas in the quake.
We had five military aircraft, which have Air Force aircraft, which have gone in so far. They will be taking in 3 more NDRF teams. They have also what we have moved today are the forward surgical centers of the Army Field Hospital of Agra, and they've taken in a lot of medicines. They have taken in communication sets which are very badly needed.
An engineering task force and 18 medical units from India have also been rushed to Nepal, where casualties have surged past 3,600. Tons of relief supplies, which include blankets, food packets, water bottles and medicines, are being transported to the neighbouring country in the IAF aircraft.
मलबा हटाने वाले जितने भी vehicles हैं, JCB vehicles और engineering task force vehicles जितने भी हैं, communication vehicles वो सब जा रहे हैं और दिल्ली से करीब 55 टन पीने का पानी जा रहा है। एक और जगह से आर्मी का कंटिंजेंट जा रहा है along with relief material.
Indian nationals are also collecting relief material to help the thousands of affected and stranded people in Nepal.
Today we are collecting the funds for Nepal victims. We are motivating the people to help.
China too dispatched a military rescue team and medical supplies to Nepal early on Monday. The Chinese government has pledged to provide $3.3 billion in humanitarian aid to Nepal. The US, UK and other countries also pledged aid.
现在计划是到这个尼泊尔的首都加德福，对，那么那个地方目前我认为它不是一个比较高的高原来讲不是很高的，但是去了之后，那么会根据那个地缘或者伤员的需求。
But it's an uphill task yet. Rains and aftershocks continue to hamper rescue efforts. The Met Department has reported 55 aftershocks since the 7.9 magnitude quake rocked the Himalayan kingdom of Nepal and large parts of the Indian subcontinent. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And taking a closer look at those rescue efforts, the NDRF really going in today on the 3rd day of the rescue operations. Already they've rescued some 10 people and of course taken out about 50 people from the rubble, bodies from under the rubble. Big task ahead. We've got DIG SS Guleria of the NDRF who's in fact joining us in studio this evening. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. Just give us a sense really of what your men are facing there. There are fresh tremors that are going on at regular intervals. They're working in unfamiliar locations there. How much of a big task is it for them?
Yes, good evening. Our 10 teams are already working there since Saturday, and these teams are working round the clock. The deployment is in the general area, Maharajpur, the place called Brijeshwari, and there is a place called Air Artillery System. So these are the general areas which are on the outskirts of Kathmandu. The average distance, you can say 10 to 15 kilometer. So there our teams are working day and night. As far as the challenges which we are facing, yes, you have very rightly said that the tremors are coming times and again. That is a challenge for which we have to be extra conscious.
Yes.
And the boys are trained, the teams are trained. So whenever such situation comes, we stop the operation for the time being and then resume after some time. In addition to that, there are the rainfall is there, that is also interrupting the operation. But otherwise, as per our capability, we are doing our job, and we are doing our job in a very, very professional manner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A big salute really to all your work that's going on there. It's a long night ahead, many days still to go. You know, in just like we were mentioning about the tremors, in about 60 odd hours since the earthquake, already there are about 55 to 57 tremors that people have felt. You know, we were just talking a short while back, sir, that the NDRF formed in 2005. This is perhaps one of the biggest challenges or tasks that your men have had to face, you know, apart from the Japan tsunami in 2011. Give us a sense really on, you know, the kind of challenges, like you pointed out, in detail of what they must be facing, what they probably will have to go through, because they are also being sent to a lot of densely populated areas.
That's very right. Since the existence of NDRF, this is one of the biggest response we are doing abroad. And especially when the earthquake has been of such a big magnitude, and it has caused a lot of devastation. So we are finding problems like the multi-story buildings, especially if you look at the houses, those are which are made of you can say the raw material or kacha material.
Yes.
Those have been collapsed badly. Those are collapsed in such a fashion that it has become a heap of, you can say, the debris.
Yes.
So to take out, you know, the live person from this kind of debris material, it is really very difficult.
Yes.
Otherwise, generally what happens, you know, the buildings are tilted, those are cracked, there is a space, confined spaces. So at many places we are finding that it is difficult to have, you know, the possibility of life at certain places where the buildings have turned into a heap of debris.
Yes.
So there we are finding problem. It is taking a lot of time to remove the debris. Then we are making, you know, the best use of our search dogs which are there with us. So those with the help of dogs, it is a quick way of identifying, you know, that in which area, which place there is a possibility of life, so that we can immediately target that area only without wasting any of the time, so that that person can be saved from that area.
Yes.
As far as challenges are concerned, you know, when you are away from your country, you find, especially in that kind of situation where there is no electricity, there is no
and
communication,
the weather is not in your favor.
That add to your problem, and especially to our responders. When you are working under such circumstances where there are, you know, a lot of sorrow, a lot of people are crying, there are dead bodies which are in a very, very bad shape.
Yes.
So these affect the performance of our responders also, because these things have got psychosocial effect on your, you know, mental state. Because of the lot of duress, lot of mental stress.
Yes.
But for that we are trained.
Absolutely.
That all those points are taken care, and we keep on monitoring our men, you know, their own mindset also, that whether they are getting adversely affected or not.
All right.
So far so good. It is a continuous process, and we have got our doctors, our experts along with us. In case of any injury to our men, they are taken care of, and at the same time the medical component which is along with us, they take care of the injured persons which are found while carrying out these operations.
All right. DIG Guleria, all the best to your men there, and you know, if there are more teams that are sent in, all the best to them, and of course the entire country is beside them. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us a sense really of the kind of work that's going on there in Nepal to try and you know, get out as many people as possible, as many lives, save as many lives as possible. That's crucial. Thank you so much for joining us. In fact, besides rushing in aid and manpower for rescue work in Nepal, India has been swift in getting its nationals out of the Himalayan country, and now an inter-ministerial team from India is in Nepal to study areas that need help, with an assurance from the leadership that India would help in any way possible. Here are the details.
Over 5,000 Indian nationals back home from earthquake-ravaged Kathmandu. That's the figure given out by Indian Air Force and officials for the last 48 hours since the earthquake struck. On the back of the Yemen evacuation accolades, Nepal comes as another victory. Spain too has now asked India for help to evacuate its nationals.
Roughly 2,100 is what the Air Force brought back. I think another 1,500 they'll bring back today, so that should take it to 3,600. I think the civil airlines have brought back about 1,200. And road movement has brought back about 600, but 600 is a morning figure, so roughly 5,400 is the number that I have at the moment.
Over 300 people have also arrived by road from Nepal to Bihar and UP. A slew of measures have been taken for speedy evacuation of stranded tourists, including goodwill visas to foreigners and mobilizing of buses and ambulances to bring them by road.
दर्शन करके बाहर निकले तभी ये भूकंप आया। पहले तो हम समझ ही नहीं पाए कि ये क्या हो रहा है, लेकिन बाद में और अहमदाबाद में जो आया था उससे भी भयानक था।
कल की परिस्थिति बहुत ज्यादा गंभीर है, वहाँ के लोग बहुत परेशान हैं, हम भी बहुत परेशान थे। 2-3 दिन से हमने कुछ खाना पीना रहना कुछ ठिकाना नहीं था।
India has also assured all help with relief and rescue operations in the quake-torn nation in the form of trained rescue personnel, medical teams and aid. Many have already been flown in and have begun work. An inter-ministerial team comprising senior officials from the Ministries of Home, Defence, External Affairs and NDMA left for Nepal on Monday to coordinate rescue and relief operations. The team will also coordinate with the Nepalese government in salvage operations.
देखिए, कल प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बैठक ली थी और उसमें बहुत सारे फैसले हम लोगों ने किए हैं ताकि नेपाल को अधिकतम सहायता हम लोग उपलब्ध करा सकें, और यह सिलसिला प्रारंभ हो गया है। पहले दिन से ही भारत ने इसमें पहल की है और वहां पर कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए भी टीम पहुंच चुकी है और अन्य क्या क्या सुविधाएं और भेजी जा सकती हैं, इसके संबंध में भी हम लोगों ने फैसला किया है।
Social media in India has been abuzz with news of the Nepal earthquake. The government has, however, warned of rumour mongering, particularly in regard to forecasts of future earthquakes. It's clarified that the so-called forecasts have no foundation, calling instead for attention where it is due. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, the death toll rising in Nepal and also on this side of the border as well. Over 70 people have been killed so far in India due to the earthquake. Most casualties were reported from Bihar, which is one of the worst affected states. The quake and aftershocks, which were experienced in some parts of north and east India, have also left hundreds injured. Rescue and relief operation is underway on war footing, but state governments are struggling to get an assessment of the extent of damage in remote areas.
Frequent aftershocks after Saturday's massive earthquake have left the north and eastern states on tenterhooks. People were seen spending nights outside homes. 3 big aftershocks were recorded since Sunday, which included the 6.9 magnitude aftershock.
कल खाना खा रहे थे, घर चौकी तो हिलने लगा, हम लोग घर छोड़ के भाग गए, फिर यहाँ पे आए सोए, खाना बना के लेके आए हैं।
ऐसा माहौल क्रिएट कर दिया है लोग और पता चल रहा है जैसे कि आदमी का जान अब जाए या कब जाए, तो इसलिए हम लोग डर के मारे जहाँ जगह मिल रहा है वहाँ पे ज्यादा से ज्यादा तादाद में जाकर हम लोग ठहर रहे हैं।
Current status is overall after the main event about 55 aftershocks have been observed, but important thing is their magnitude and intensity are diminishing, reducing. Yesterday night at 9:56 earthquake of magnitude 5.3 was observed, but thereafter it is between 3 and 4. Yesterday they were between 4 and 5, and now today they are between 3 and 4. The message is very clear that now there is a declining trend in the magnitude and intensity.
Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal are the 3 worst affected states that border Nepal. The centre and the state governments are working in tandem to provide rescue and relief to those affected. 5 teams of NDRF have been deployed in Bihar and 1 in UP for rescue and relief operations of affected people. So far, 180 people have been evacuated to safer places by the NDRF in Darbhanga in Bihar. However, there is still no clear estimate of the extent of damage done by the earthquake, so far as information is trickling in from some of the remote parts.
सभी अपने मंत्रिमंडलीय सहयोगियों को अपने प्रभार के जिले में भेज दिया है और जो भी सचिव हैं जिलों के प्रभारी वे भी जिले में कैंप करने लगे हैं और हर जगह की स्थिति को देखते हुए वहां जरूरी निर्णय ले रहे हैं। मृतक के परिजनों को जो अनुग्रह राशि है उसका भुगतान लगभग किया जा चुका है और जैसे ही सूचना मिलती है उसकी पुष्टि करने के बाद उन्हें भुगतान किया जा रहा है।
The state governments have ordered to shut down schools for 2 days in the wake of the tragedy.
बहुत गार्जियंस ने हम लोगों को फोन किया कि बच्चे बहुत डरे हुए हैं, तो उनके इस भय को देखते हुए ये निर्णय लिया गया कि 2 दिनों तक यानी आज और कल राज्य के सभी विद्यालय बंद रहेंगे। यह एक तरीके से एहतियाती कदम है।
In Lok Sabha, Home Minister Rajnath Singh praised Uttarakhand, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh governments in their efforts and cooperation to deal with the crisis.
संबंधित राज्य सरकारें आवश्यक कदम उठा रही हैं। वैसे तो भारत सरकार द्वारा 5 NDRF की टीमें भेजी गई हैं, जिनमें से 4 बिहार में और 1 उत्तर प्रदेश में तैनात हैं। हम भी राज्य सरकारों से लगातार संपर्क में हैं और हमने हर संभव मदद का वादा भी किया है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी स्वयं इस परिस्थिति का निरीक्षण कर रहे हैं और उन्होंने आदेश दिया है कि हर संभव सहायता हम अपने नेपाली भाई बहनों को देंगे।
Meanwhile, prayers were held across the country mourning the loss of lives in the tragedy in both Nepal and India. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for a quick break here, but we're leaving you with these visuals at the moment when avalanches hit the Everest Base Camp on Saturday, as captured by one of the foreign climbers.
Should we go back into the tent? Yeah, maybe. Right. Stay together. Stay together.
आजादी के बाद कैसे बदला परिवेश, कैसे बनी संसद, कैसे उठा देश।
When the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
कौन थे वो लोग जो दे गए हमको शानदार विरासत, लोकतंत्र की मजबूत इमारत। राज्यसभा टेलीविजन।
Welcome back. Let's get you some more national news now. And HRD Minister Smriti Irani today strongly rejected allegations of her ministry meddling in the affairs of educational institutions. Speaking during a debate on demands for grants of the HRD ministry, she talked at length on how extensive consultation process is launched for a new education policy. She also allayed fears that her ministry is trying to saffronize education and history.
बिना किसी द्वेष के
HRD Minister Smriti Irani strongly objected to allegations that her ministry is meddling in the affairs of educational institutions. She rejected charges that scholars have been sacrificed to make way for ideologues in institutes like the Indian Council of Historical Research.
आप ही ने महोदया कहा था कि मेरे खिलाफ चार्जशीट बनाई जा रही। मैं उस चार्जशीट का जवाब दे रही हूँ आज और आग्रह करती हूँ कि सब जवाब सुने। ये वो इतिहासकार हैं जिन्होंने देश नहीं छोड़ा बल्कि देश में रहकर देश की सेवा की है। क्या उनका सम्मान करना अपराध है?
Smriti Irani said budget constraints will not affect the ministry when it comes to implementing changes to make education stronger in India. She also talked about the program Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds, which is a web portal where massive open online courses are available on all kinds of subjects.
किताबों की कीमत बहुत सारे माता पिताओं के लिए एक चिंता का विषय हो गया है। NCERT के माध्यम से ऑनलाइन हम ओपन रिसोर्सेज उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं ताकि कक्षा 1 से 12 तक सारी किताबें ऑनलाइन मुफ्त उपलब्ध हो। NCERT से मैंने स्वयं निवेदन किया है।
However, some of the members were not satisfied with her reply to budget cuts in education sector this year.
The minister was more concerned about condemning the previous UPA regime rather than giving us a vision for the future. Not a word has been said about the dramatic drastic, tragic cuts that have been made in social sector programs, such as Sarva Shiksha Abhijan and the midday meals scheme.
Okay, all right.
That was the cruelest cut of all.
Sir, what is the major scheme? Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, midday meal scheme, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, model school program and so on. These programs, non-utilization of the allocation of the fund means non-performing ministry.
Earlier, the Trinamool Congress had accused the HRD ministry of meddling and unwarranted interference in the affairs of educational institutions and advocated the need for respect to teachers and students. The party referred to discussion and public debate on how some premier scientific and technological institutions are being adversely affected by the actions. Citing recent instances including the resignation of IIT Delhi director, TMC said the HRD ministry should be respectful to the country's eminent scientists. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
And now let's get you some quick updates from across the country and nationwide. In a major setback to AIADMK Chief Jayalalitha, the Supreme Court vacated the stay on the Karnataka High Court verdict on her appeal in the disproportionate assets case. The court also said the Tamil Nadu government has no authority to appoint a special public prosecutor for the case. Earlier, a DMK leader had filed a petition seeking removal of the special public prosecutor from appearing in the appeal filed before the High Court. 20 days after the National Green Tribunal banned aging petrol and diesel vehicles from plying on the roads, the centre has moved it, seeking a stay on the ban. The petition saw 6 months' time to draw up a policy for addressing pollution concerns. The centre has argued in its plea to use fitness tests, including emission checks, as a criteria for curbing pollution, citing other countries as examples. The Sensex remained overpowered through the day and extended its losing streak for the third consecutive day. The Sensex plunged 261 points to a fresh 3.5 months low of 27,176, while the Nifty ended below the 8,300 mark by falling around 92 points. In a move that threatens the privacy of over 1 million internet users in India, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has released the list of email IDs from which it received responses regarding net neutrality. This move by TRAI has led to widespread criticism among netizens, slamming the organization for making it easy for spammers to get a huge database. In other news, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani arrives in New Delhi later tonight on his first visit to India since he took office in September. During the visit, India and Afghanistan are expected to take stock of their strategic partnership. Ghani is also likely to discuss with his Indian hosts any progress in talks with Taliban militants who announced the start of a new spring offensive last week. Sources said connectivity, including a three-way deal between India, Iran and Afghanistan to develop the Iranian port of Chabahar, is also likely to figure in talks. India will be keen to hear from the president about his plans to stabilize Afghanistan and the role that he expects India to play in this. India has committed $2 billion for reconstruction efforts in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, India is not in the race to host the 2024 Olympic Games. IOC Chief Thomas Bach has confirmed this while visiting India today. The IOC President met Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier today amid reports that India may bid to host the event. After holding talks with Modi, Bach said that he was surprised by the speculations of India bidding to host the Olympics. He said that the IOA still needs to find a feat a year after returning from the Olympic suspension. The IOC had suspended India for electing officials accused of corruption in 2012 in breach of the Olympic Charter.
Just 1 year after the suspension could be lifted, it gave me the impression that their IOA still has to find their feet for different reasons. We think it may be a little bit too quick now for India to have successful Olympic Games in 2024.
And that's all we have on the show tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.